In this week's podcast, the werewolf is faced with having to choose between his life and everyone else's.
Werewolf the Podcast.
Welcome to Werewolf the Podcast. Excuse me. Apologies for that. A fly just flew into my throat and it sort of knocked me off my stride a little bit. I'll have another go at that. Welcome to Werewolf the Podcast, a serial killer drama. Check out our partners at Grendel Press and Odin Apparel. You can get amazing things to read at Grendel Press and amazing things to wear at Odin Apparel. So go check them out. There's links in the description, all that kind of stuff. Check out the books, the Facebook group. You can interact with us on X and Insta and all that kind of stuff. And if you want to read stuff, you know, I've written a couple of books, Il Lupo and Kill and Cure, and I'm a long way into my third novel, working title, Heal Thyself. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. We're going to be heading back into the Middle Ages with William Marshal and Gervais and Lord Percy and all the others to see what's going on as the siege continues. Greg and Fen. Well, that went all flowery, languagey and things, didn't it?
What did?
The last episode, mate.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. A bit of like Shakespeare by our goodly bard Percy.
Bit of Shakespeare, I agree, but I don't think it was William. It seemed like it might actually have been written by his much less able cousin, Keith.
Ouch.
I mean, it was good, but, you know, let's normal it up a bit for now, shall we?
You can tell that we're good writers, aren't we? You know, like with sentences like normaling it up.
Seems an illegitimate sentence to me, or a sentence illegitime, as the brave cock might say.
Oh. Brave St. Percy, Lord of Northumberland, single-handedly saved the castle, brave Sir Percy, the god of war.
The brave cock. The evil and godforsaken sorcerer has made his chemical brew. He has done the magic to harm those that slink behind those nasty walls. The potion has been ladled into clay amphi so that when they are flung beyond those walls, they will break and release their misery-inducing loads. The men who carry those plague-filled pots wear scarves around their noses and throats to stop the oomers from affecting them. I have a bag of herbs, a silk bag of lavender, rosemary, and sage to help to hold to my nose to take away the pot offences. The mercenary captain stands in front of me. I hold my bag once more to my nose. His stench is even more noisome than the plague potion. He is disgusting, and did not want to remember to take his yearly bath. This stinky man is the infamous Captain Demos of Limassol. He has a sort of face that suggests it had once lost a heated argument with a falling drawbridge. Yes, he lost that fact, and judging by the damage done, he lost the way match too. You could say he had that lived-in look, if by lived-in you meant routinely pillaged by passing armies and then redecorated by blind lepers with a grudge. It was disgusting. He was missing an eye and an ear, and according to some accounts, a sense of proportion. The eye had been claimed during a siege in the Nepals by a crossbow bolt, fired by someone who later apologized quite profusely after discovering Demos was, technically speaking, on his own side. If he is ever truly on anyone's side. The ear I had aired. I show my wits here, do I not? The ear had been misled during a tavern brawl in Rhodes over a woman, a death, and the precise pronunciation of the word syphilitic. And it all played out in that order. His remaining ear had heard so many languages shouted at it in anger that it had simply stopped trying to make sense of anything and developed a sort of internal shrug. That Cypriot disdain. Captain Demos was a Cypriot born of sun, salt, and political instability. His homeland had been conquered more times than a tavern bar whore during a celebration, and he carried the cumulative cynicism of each regime like a peculiarly sarcastic coat of arms. Despite all this, or possibly because of it, Demos commanded loyalty. Perhaps it was sheer gravitational pull of his scars, or the deep, unsettling way he smiled when he mentioned how long it had been since he'd had to use his good axe. In another life, he might have been a poet, or a tax collector, perhaps, or a surprisingly violent wine merchant. But this life, being both shorter and significantly more pointy, had seen fit to make him a mercenary captain. The kind who knew precisely when to fight, when to run, and when to stab someone while running, probably in the back. In short, Demos was a man you could trust to get you out of a hopeless battle by ensuring you was the only one still standing to enjoy the view, and you had a full purse of cash at the end of it. Cash you would have to share with him. This all said, it made me feel quite unmanly. I know it's a difficult thing to believe when I stand here in my silk fanare, my stockings, and my makeup. As he came to a halt before me, he sort of saluted. But even that was done in a sarcastic, physical tone of derisory and nonchalance.
What do you want me to do?
He asked in his stupid Cypriot accent. Ah, my good man, I want you to bring forth the trebuchets, I said, putting my emphasis on the word trebuchets. The man looked at me. He held my gaze, but I saw it now lacked focus, which gave me the idea that he did not understand my simple instructions. He still stood there, standing still. Still. I want you to bring forth the trebuchets. I repeated the emphasis on trebuchet once again. He still held his stance. He was mocking me, I think. Are you mocking me, forsooth? If so, I must whack a few.
I have never heard of him, Lord. Sireth who?
I wish you to bring forth the trebuchets.
I did not get that. Get the two buckets. Why do we need a bucket? The poisoner is in the jars.
He tried to explain. No, Captain. We need to bring forth the trebuchets. The captain now looked at me and scratched his head. Was he testing me in front of his men? Was he trying to make me the figure of fun around here? Are you being belligerent on purpose, you foolish man? I asked him indignantly.
I think it is midday.
He replied, I curse you, you fool! Go get the trebuchets to launch the pots. I told the man I was much angered and piqued.
You heard of the man, Go get 3 buckets to wash the pots, Huh?
Said the soldier. I give up. You are a fool. I turned away from the man and spoke to Hans in the Pants, the necromancer. Can you make this plebeian understand what I wish? My pronunciation is perfect otherwise, but it seems not to be able to grasp my meaning. I asked him. The dark wizard looked me up and down and nodded.
Yes, I can speak some Cypriot Greek, O noble one. It is a part of my deep and secret learnings.
What? Could you ask the fool to get the trebuchets to fire forth the potions? The hooded cow nodded and walked to the captain, who did a sign of the cross as he approached. I don't blame him, to be honest.
For all of the hells, your master is telling you that you need to get 2 buckets of fire for your potions
He told the confused captain. No, you are both sea women. This is not what I said. I was angry now. The 2 of them faced each other and simply shrugged. I gave up on talking and pointed at the trebuchets, my body shaking with fury. It took a while for the men to relax, but eventually they followed the finger and its point to the trebuchets. There was a moment of consideration, and then the necromancer said,
Oh,
you meant the trebuchets, my lord.
I nodded. Yes. Now you've got it. The trebuchets. I laughed. The 2 men now looked at each other and reacted with a sense of understanding and relief. They laughed. The stress was now alleviated.
oh, okay, trebuchet.
Said the captain. The necromancer nodded and smiled. I am most furious, I told them. You fools will be paying a stiff price for such mockery. I walked over to the clay pots that were piled outside my tent. I got their attention by saying, Attention! I pointed at the jars and made a sign with my hands to show them, flying through the air, and then pointed at the distant castle.
I think he wants for us to give the trebuchets to the enemy.
The captain asked the dark wizard.
No, I don't think so. I think he wants us to fire the pots over the wall with the trebuchets.
Said the dark wizard. Yes, you fools, I told them. How stupid could 2 people be? They raised their thumbs in a most barbaric manner of understanding. Thank the Lord in heaven. William Marshal. One of the benefits of having an independent wolf soul such as Fenrir as your friend is that you can use him as a sneaky listener and scout for reconnaissance, you see. He was now sat at the edge of the above conversation you've just heard between the captain, the cock, and the conjurer. I was sat with my lord de Tancarville, Percy, Llywelyn, my squire, we call him Welly, and Gervais in my lord's private room, where I informed him of what had been said. Obviously, I removed the humour of the conversation, as at this time my lord would not appreciate such. But I would be storing this story for a future time with my fellows over a few ales. Ah, they mean to send us pots of plague-ridden potion over the walls, sir. They mean to cause us to suffer from disease and pestilence, to drive us from this place, you see. I told him. The Count and the cock are using dark magic. The Lord de Tancarville looked at me with all seriousness. I could see the stress in his face.
We have an issue, William,
he said, leaning upon an elbow and rubbing his face and eyes. Much weary he was.
A messenger pigeon arrived from the army in the north. It was a ruse. There is no war going on against Flanders. It seems that the new Count de Perigord, direct descendant of Charlemagne,
said Gervais to try and lighten the mood somewhat. The look given by the Lord to Gervais was a perfect reply. It had a notable shut-the-fuck-up-edness to it. Gervais couldn't hold that stare. How many days before the support column arrives? I asked de Tancarville.
They are on the march and will send ahead mounted soldiers, but the column will take at least a few days to arrive.
Right-o, then. It's a long time to hold them off, though, so it is, I said.
Yes, unfortunately. I am very aware of that, William,
said the Lord.
Damn it all. What is our method for dealing with this situation when we're so deep in it?
He asked me. I'm not sure, to be 100% truthful. I could become my other and attack the camp once more, I suggested.
No, Will. That demon is not for the daylight. If you are seen in that form by Christian men, then we will have problems with our bishop and the church. I cannot risk that. Even if we were all to die, then at least our souls will be judged for the better,
he said bitterly. I then had to admit the truth. I think I may have caused this reaction in my manner of dealing with the Count and the cockerel, I admitted. Percy smirked, and he got for his efforts a death stare from all of us there.
Oh, and how would that have come about?
The Lord asked. I rubbed my bristly chin and smiled at the man. I did not know if telling him this information would get me his ire or his congratulations. Certainly, it was the congratulations I was hoping for.
He told them. What was it again now, William?
Said Gervais, reveling in his moment of embarrassing me.
Ah, yes. Let's see if I can get this word for word. Fuck off. Such beautiful and precise word choice there, Will.
He laughed. The Lord placed his head in his hands.
You did what, Will?
Well, I thought they were coming to surrender or to tell us they're breaking their siege, you see. I paused.
Oh, please do go on.
Well, after my last night's work, sir, it angered me that they would carry on their threats, and I didn't think they actually could carry any of them out, you see. I told him.
William, for goodness sake,
said Tancarville.
Please remind me to do my own negotiating in the future. Oh. You are a man of war, William, but not a man of words. Don't get me wrong, those are fine words, but just not in this context.
Gervais was obviously disappointed at my lord's response, so he thought he would push a little harder to get me in the shitty mire.
Maybe we can stop them by giving them William's head. It's not like he is actually using it at the moment, is he?
He said. He, for once, was not drinking, which I found most confusing, but other matters were more pressing at this time. His witticism was thankfully ignored.
So, we know that they are going to send over this stuff. We know that the pots contain poison, evil, and death. We know. We have no way to stop them hitting. So what do we do?
Gervais, the normally drunk, got to his feet in a very serious and sober manner.
Well, I think the answer, my lord, is to get as many people under cover as we possibly can. I would choose the church house, personally. They would then be protected both spiritually and physically. It is a slate roof and stone walls in case they were to send fire or something.
Gervais put a foot up on a wooden chair and leaned on his knee, speaking to us quite conspiratorially.
Go on, Gervais.
The Lord was engaged and nodded his approval at his words. Gervais looked at me, and I nodded mine too for what it was worth.
We could give our men protective scarves around their mouths and noses. We could keep them wet with holy water. That might help, might it not? I mean, if they're using this dark pagan magic, we could also have the people blessed by the bishop.
Gervais laughed.
Goodness, my sobriety allows me to think,
he said, smiling.
I mean, we could even pray. I really don't like to bother the Lord up there often, but in this case, it may actually do us some good.
Outlined Gervais.
What do you offer, brave Sir Percy?
The Lord de Tancarville asked, turning to the man. Percy was shaken out of his torpor. He pointed a finger to his chest, his mouth falling open.
What? Me, my lord?
Percy asked, confused.
Yes, brave Sir Percy.
Sir Percy, Duke of Northumberland, should not be left from this skirmish, should he?
Well, my lord, I could offer to defend the women and the children in the church.
Offered Percy. Gervais laughed in response.
You have no idea, Percy, how that will settle my mind when the trouble begins, knowing that our finest is protecting our weakest. Oh, that heartens me so.
Gervais looked at me and mouthed, "What the fuck?" silently, so that only I could see. Then he spoke himself.
Aye, Sir Percy. That will settle my mind too.
Agreed Gervais, his response dripping with sarcasm as he turned away, a little annoyed. Percy seemed to calm down and accept that all was okay.
Do you know what?
said Gervais, turning towards the table.
I was going to try and do this fight sober, but now I need a drink to settle my mind properly. I must remember that every day I spend with you, William, is probably going to be the last day of my life. I will not go out to hell lucid. Welly, pass me a jar.
Within the next hour, the castle was set. As set as we could possibly be. Water barrels from the well were stored in the cellar of the keep. Livestock and people were hidden away. When the plague rained down, it would find it difficult to locate any victims. Gervais and I stood on the walls overlooking the camp of the Count. The Trebuchets were being loaded with pots. The Count's famous herald, the brave cock, was making an inspirational speech of sorts to the soldiery. The black-cloaked figure of the necromancer was at the forefront, moving his hands and arms as though weaving evil magic.
Well, I hope for his sake he's better at the dark magic than he's dancing, eh, Will? He's a shit dancer.
He said, "I'd love to attack and kill that man. I should be a wolf man and be in that camp now, killing cock, count, and magician all together."
You know, Will, that is... that is not a possibility.
Slurred the now drunk Gervais.
If the bishop sees you for what you really are, then Tancarville and yourself will be cast from the mother church, and that would not be good for either of your souls. Excommunication might be the final action for your soul to be condemned to hell.
He laughed.
Well, but how you unearn that destination you already have, I don't know.
The cock now turned towards us on the wall and took his short sword from his scabbard on his hip. He lifted it above his head and rambled something before dropping the sword. The two giant siege machines were unleashed, and, as if in slow motion, the weighted arm moved, letting fly a large number of pots. We watched them now as they came towards us, and then sailed over our heads and into the courtyards beyond, exploding on contact with buildings. Green haze. No smoke, no fugue spread from the impacts, and the center of the castle was lost to our sight. There seemed to be a silence for a moment. It was an evil silence, as a bitter haze spread about the place. We turned back to the camp of the Count and saw the trebuchets being rewound for another release. Behind us in the castle, we heard screams and the baleful lowing of our cattle. Our attempt to hide our people and our creatures must have failed. We couldn't see, but we could hear. Innocent animals and people were dying. Again, we heard the thunder of the trebuchets, and once more we saw a barrage of black dots as they flew towards our home. We watched them pass, and we watched them fall. The castle was now completely obscured to us. Green flames were rising into the sky. We could feel the heat even at this distance. Something was on fire. Not only with natural fire, but a fire that was even burning stone. What magic was this? More screams and sounds of people hurting rose to my ears. I could not stand it. I shook my head. My mind was whirring. I couldn't let this go on. The time had come. I had to do something. "Fuck this!" I told Gervais. He turned to look at me. "Fuck this!" I told him grimly. I will end this now. I continued.
But Will, you can't.
No. Not by the way of the wolf. Another way. I will give this Count what he wants, I told Gervais.
Which is what?
He asked. I'm going to give him me.
William, please don't do this.
He replied. Gervais, yes. Now help me or hinder me, but I will walk to that camp and surrender, and allow them to do with me as they wish.